This is CPM Calculus Chapter 5, number 94, and it's asking us to use your derivative tools to differentiate each function. For A, it's asking us d dx of sine to the cube root of x plus 3. So what I did was I took the derivative of sine of this, and that's just cosine of the cube root of x plus 3, and I used the chain rule because there's still this function. So I multiplied it by 1/3 x plus 3 to the negative 2/3. And for B, it's asking us d dx of 4 minus x squared over x third minus 2. So I use the quotient rule for this, and the quotient rule is the low times the derivative of the high minus the high times the derivative of the low all over the low squared. So the low, which is x third minus 2, times the derivative of the high, which is negative 2x, and subtract. And the high, which is 4 minus x squared, times the derivative of the low, which is 3x squared, and it's all over the low squared. So x to the third minus 2 squared. And that's your answer. For C, it's d dx of 1 over cosine x. So that's the same. I use the quotient rule, and so it's the low times the derivative of the high minus the high times the derivative of the low, which is negative sine x, all over the low squared, cosine squared x. For D, it's d dx of 6x minus 1 times sine of 2x. I just use the product rule because it's a product of two functions. So it's the first, which is 6x minus 1 times the second, times the derivative of the second, which is cosine 2x. And there's something inside the parentheses, so I used the chain rule to get rid of it. So I multiplied it by 2, which is the derivative of what's inside, and you add it with the second times the derivative of the first, which is 6. For E, it's d dx of sine of 3x all over 2x to the third. And I use a quotient rule for this again. So it's the low, 2x to the third, times the derivative of the high, which is cosine 3x. And I use the chain rule to get rid of what's inside the parentheses, which is the derivative of this. So it's times 3. Subtract it by the high times the derivative of the low, which is 6x squared, all over the low squared. So 2x to the third squared. F, it's d dx of the square root of sine squared x plus cosine squared x, and that's basically just taking the derivative of 1, because sine squared x plus cosine squared x, the identity, that equals 1, so the derivative of 1 equals 0.